guys, thank you so much for joining us on an episode of Inspired. Today I'm here with Tracy, myself, and Sasha.
Hello.
And Tracy came all the way in from Minnesota.
I did come in from Minnesota.
So what are you doing in Vegas?
Well, I came to see you for removal, and then I came to do the podcast, and then I'm here to do scalp pigmentation training this weekend with Victor.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Oh,
yeah,
you're
right.
Yeah, no, I'll see you or be here Saturday and Sunday.
Awesome,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So tell the people like who you are and a little bit about yourself, and then that actually. I got another thought. Introduce yourself.
Oh, another. I knew like thoughts. Shifting gears. Well, I'm Tracy. I'm from Minnesota. I started my tattoo apprenticeship about a year ago. I do lashes, and I have a beauty studio there. I do body sculpting and some other things. And yeah, I'm trying to get through my tattoo apprenticeship. So I have been doing some training with Amber. And I'm at a new studio now, and I'm just trying to come into the industry with a good solid footing.
Yes, I like that. So you're trying to come in with a good foundation because a lot of people don't care about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is so true. Yeah, and it's super important.
So do you want to talk a little bit about? Well, do you want to maybe back up a little bit and talk a little bit about where you've been, where you've come now? Because you said you're in a new space, and we'll keep it as positive as possible. Is possible. We know you have kind of a typical story that I'll be honest that I hear from a lot of people. I literally hear, so I only really teach, I do apprentice stuff from time to time, but I usually only teach people that have some experience, right? But the most common thing that I hear is when they enter the industry, they're kind of like left on their own to figure it out. I just talked at the school just this last week at the college here in town, and two of the girls in there have their body art card, should be able to perform services, and both of them are like, I don't feel confident and I can't move forward with tattooing and I need another apprenticeship. So I guess maybe fill us in, girl. What happens?
Yeah, I think I'm learning that it's more common than not, right? And that doesn't make it right. But so, you did a post about this not that long ago. You take a essentially crash course is what I felt like. It's a 5-6 day course. You learn the fundamentals or the foundation for permanent makeup. Yeah. And then you're kind of thrust into a apprenticeship situation. Minnesota's a little bit different than Nevada, where we have to have hours versus months. So Minnesota, you have to have 200 hours of time in skin. And so you go through your fundamental.
Can I pause you along the way?
Yeah.
Am I going to throw you off if I ask you questions as you're talking?
Yeah, no, go for it.
Because how are they tracking? First off, how are they tracking hours in the skin? Because I feel like that would be very difficult. Because I could take 2 hours to do a procedure, whereas you could take 6 hours to do a procedure, but then so I get 6 hours and you only get 2 for a brow procedure. Like that's
I know it's
like
kind of
weird.
crazy, right? No, it is weird, and honestly, it's supposed to be just time in skin that's tracked, right? So, like for me, I've been pretty vocal throughout my journey. Like brow mapping is something that I've struggled with, right? Like I didn't even feel like I had a good handle on that coming out of like the fundamental class. So somebody like me who maps slower, like if I'm taking 45 minutes to an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on the person, to get brows on, right? Because you can't tattoo it.
And that time's not tracked.
No, it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be just time in skin.
Okay.
Right? So it could take, realistically, somebody like me 6 hours to get through a brow service, because 2 of those 6 hours might be mapping and trying to figure things out and whatever. So depending on the day and depending on who you ask and where you're at and what you're doing, some places will pad the hours and they will count all of it, which they shouldn't be, and other places will. But so it really is dependent upon the apprentice and how efficiently they can work. So yeah, if you have a good handle on things, or you are reckless, maybe isn't a good word, but if you're more confident, or you don't care about what you're doing, or making sure that that person that's on your table is getting, quality work, then yeah, you might be able to rush through it. You might get 2 hours.
I literally was just saying that because I feel like that is the mindset that some people would have, is like, oh, well, yeah, I'm only going to get credit for 2 hours, so get this shape on as fast as possible. I don't care what it looks like. Like, I got to get to the skin, right? So that's like scary.
Yeah, and I think some people just, they don't want to be in the facility, or they don't want to be, so it's like they get there, they want to get through it, they want to get out because they want to get on with their day.
I've had apprentices that have paid and just not shown up.
See, that's wild.
I'm like,
that's
literally,
crazy.
I'm like one that just decided I'm just not coming anymore, and I'm like, that just blows my mind. Sorry, I could go on a rant. Continue.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of like an all or nothing mentality out there. And I've been saying this. So I've been working on my apprenticeship for a year. I've been supplementing other training and doing other things while I've been in my apprenticeship. You know, I've been out here doing stuff with you.
Yeah.
And so that slows you down too, right? Because if you care about your work or you care about what you're doing or you want to avoid those situations where you're having to say to a client like, okay, well, I messed this up, you know, thanks for acknowledging I'm a student, but now you got to go to laser or you got to go to saline removal or whatever. It's a slow process. And in my state, like you have a time frame, so they don't just give you like forever to get those 200 hours in. So, you know, you're kind of damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
It's crazy.
It's wild because these are people's faces that we're tattooing. And so, but I feel like you're also penalized if you're trying to do things the right way and you actually want the education and you care about learning and understanding the, you know, the whens, the whys, the wheres, then you're penalized for that too. So it's difficult. It's really difficult, I think, for me being a new artist coming into this industry with the way that things are and how reckless trainers and schools and facilities are.
And like, how has that
care.
made you feel? Like you kind of mentioned, we were talking. If you can't see Tracy's brows, we did a session of lightning on them before we came, so they look a little red. But I was to say, how's it made you feel? Because I know you were talking a little bit in the studio, like you wanted to give up, and like, so what's kept you going?
Yeah, I mean, I literally just said that to you. Like, I haven't even like fully came into the industry or like launched any part of my career with cosmetic tattooing or tattooing in general, and I already feel like I want to quit. And that's sad to me. What keeps me going is I have to remember why I'm coming into the industry in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. But then if I'm just being transparent and I'm just like, you know, calling a spade, I have a lot of money invested in my education.
That was my next question. Yes. I was like, do you feel comfortable sharing how much you have invested in education up to this point?
Yeah.
Do you have a number for that even?
Yeah. I mean, where I am like right now in terms of like money out of pocket, I probably
For training alone,
about $40,000 or $45,000.
Woo. Yeah.
Invested.
Oh, yeah.
I'm at like almost 20 grand with the facility that I left.
And do you feel like, and this is not to like poke at anybody, but do you feel like with all the education you've received, do you feel like it's been $45,000 worth? Like, do you feel like we're ready to hop on a face? No.
Nope.
That is, it's literally the same story I hear all day long.
That's so sad because that's like what someone going to college for 4 years. You know, it's like that breaks
that's
my
a good
heart.
point. It literally is equivalent and then some to a college education.
Yeah, and I hate that it's like discouraged you. You know, because that's not what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah. You know, it's supposed to be pushing
building
you forward.
You up and make you think you can do it.
Yeah. And I hate that you're feeling that way, but I am proud that you're not like
haven't given up.
Yeah.
But in it too, I guess there's a fine line there though. It's like, and I'm not saying this to discourage you. It's just like, but there is a fine line there because I could see somebody being like, well, how much do I invest? Do I keep spending money? Like, is it ever going to happen? Do I stop? Do I keep going? Like what,
you know?
Like,
when do you get that back? You know, like that's fair thoughts and fair feelings to have.
Like I got to start tattooing somebody at some point so I can get this money back so I can survive. Like.
And then that's how people who don't feel like as good get out there and start messing up people's faces. And it's like, you should have got that teaching from the beginning. So I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, I feel, I think, just more empathetic and compassionate towards people like me that are coming into, because there are people that come into the industry and they come from some type of background, right? Whether it's aesthetics or they, you know, nursing, whatever. And I came into the industry in a different type of way. I mean, in terms of my background. So I wasn't completely inept in terms of anatomy and things like that, but it was more the mortuary side, not the beauty side, right? So nobody's tattooing brows on, you know, people that aren't breathing anymore. But I said that
But if there was,
right,
it's so weird how we talk about something and then
they
like
can't
someone
talk back. They can't say they don't like it.
Well, they're the best.
Yeah,
they're the best. I used to say that. Like I used to recover organs, and so I used to recover corneas and bone and tissue, and you know I used to do that. Wow. So I have a good handle on anatomy. But yeah, I always used to say like, hey, if my patients start talking, then we got problems. I guess you know. I mean, but yeah, they would be like. If you could learn in real time in that type of setting, right? Like, and I know that they have cadaver skin and whatever, like that would be great, but that's, I mean, not realistic. Like we don't have people donating their bodies to science. So cosmetic tattoo artists and tattoo artists can learn.
Yeah.
But that would be great because that would be way more beneficial than tattooing on squash and fruit and whatever.
It's so funny. And we were just talking about
yeah.
that being like Amber's like second gig.
Yeah,
if she like ever.
I could, yeah, absolutely. I could so
Have you
see
seen the nail artists? They got nail artists that go and do the nails. Like I'm like, this is so great. This is the perfect career for me, and I got to talk to nobody.
Right.
I guess I had a thought. I was kind of holding on to it. Knowing what you know now.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. I think it's super important. Is there some things that you've went through that could help other people, because this is such a common thing that's happening in the industry? Like they're taking all these trainings, they don't feel confident. Like, is there something that you've seen throughout this, since it's so fresh for you, that could help somebody else not make, I'm going to say this loosely, make those same mistakes?
Yeah, I mean, I think
like research on a trainer. I don't know if it come down to that, or if it was like quality of the education, or do you feel like you're pushed one way because of the state you're in? Like, I don't know. If there's even an answer?
Well, no, I think there is, and I think there's a right and a wrong way to approach that, right? Like coming into the industry, I think like where you live plays a huge role on where you have to go, right?
Yeah.
So like me, I drive 3 hours one way.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
To do any type of like anything with my apprenticeship, to take clients, to even with my new place.
Can I pause you for 1 second?
Yeah.
I had a girl call. Do you remember this? Like maybe like 6 months ago, she called the studio and she's like, I'm looking for an apprenticeship. I'm trying to learn. She lived on the other side of town. It was like a 20-minute drive. She's like, oh, I can't drive that far. Thank you very much. And I'm just hearing you say, and I'm like, you got the two extremes. You got somebody that's like dedicated, Tracy, right? Dedicated.
Yeah.
And then you got somebody that's like, meh, too far. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same state and everything.
Crazy.
Same state. Just
I'm
20
already
minutes away.
trying to figure out, like, how do I come to Vegas for 6 months? Do I live in my RV? What do I do with my dogs? And I just need to be here and do my apprenticeship because I know that I'm going to learn and I'm going to do it the right way.
That curve, girl.
Well, and I think, like, just somebody new coming in, what I didn't realize is, like, you have to be careful not to drink the Kool-Aid. And I say that, I use that term a lot, right? Don't drink the Kool-Aid. But I think no matter how much you research, even if you think that you're in a good situation, you might find out once you're in it that it's not a good situation. And I think that like industry-wide is maybe part of the problem, where you don't know it's bad. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm. You can even tour spaces and it feel wonderful, and you can get in there and it's not wonderful.
Yeah. And it took me, I've been trying to launch this business for 2 years. So I spent 2 years intentionally not going into an apprenticeship because I wanted to make sure that it was right, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to learn, and I wanted to make sure that I did all the things right. And then I didn't do all the things right, which has been a huge learning thing, right? So you have to like grow through it, and you have to learn. But I think for somebody new coming into the industry, I mean, I think that they just really need to do due diligence. They need to ask questions. They need to tour. They need to even like look at reviews. I think another big thing is making sure that the people that are out there that are providing training don't have sanctions against them for certain things. And they need to really just look at how the facility is run and how many people they're training at once, because I think that that's a big thing too.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing.
Get some regulations in there from the state and all that. Have some other eyes that aren't biased in what's happening. So.
Yeah, though, I'm like torn on that. This is kind of going to be off topic a little bit. Like everybody's like all for rules and regulations until they happen. Because I'm sorry, but you'll have somebody that comes in from a department of say it's health, for instance. Say it's a health department coming in. How many times they come in, and I'm not saying, just in general, sorry, health department, but it's like we know more than they know.
Yeah.
Those people haven't been in those situations tattooing. They don't know what they're looking for. They're like, oh, is it disposable? You say yes. They're like, okay, cool. It's like, motherfucker, that's a machine. That machine takes cartridges. Guess where the cartridges go? On the dirty fucking tray. Yeah. Guess what happens then? Then they're stuck in your machine. Are they putting that in an autoclave? No, they're not. Like that's your version of disposable and single use. I get it, but I know.
Yeah.
Like you don't know. So it's like there's a fine line there that you got to walk, because it's like you could say, yeah, it's great. It sounds wonderful to have somebody outside looking in, but then they don't know jack shit. You need people in there that have actually lived it. Like
that's what I'm saying. The position should be held by someone.
They should be, but instead they send us to school the industry experience doesn't count. Instead, they send you to a fucking school to learn from a textbook that has nothing to do with tattooing. It's just general blanketed information that doesn't relate. So I don't know. It's not just an issue from artists coming in. It's an issue rooted way deeper than that.
Absolutely.
Well, right. And I think some of the things that are going on in the States with artists coming in wouldn't be going on either if there was oversight.
Yeah.
Just people in the industry doing things that, I mean, kind of like you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, you're out enforcing rules and regulations, but you don't know the rules and regulations yourself because you're not in the industry.
Victor's looked at me before and is like, his health
wild.
Department, they kind of teased a few times. They're like, oh, you're going to come work for us one day, huh? And I'm like, Victor's like, they better, like, there'll be so many places shut down. There'll be so many places shut down. I'm like, your inks ain't labeled when was this one opened? Oh, you don't even know? Throw it away.
Yeah.
Like, all your shit's taken off that shelf right now. Throw it away. It ain't got labels. When did you open it? It's only good for a year. Like, they would just not even know what to do with me. They'd be like, mind blown. Like, pay me double salary and we could talk.
Well, then the industry would be great, though, and everyone would have clients because nobody would be open because you would shut them
shutting
all
everyone
down.
Ticket. You get a ticket. You get a ticket.
Yeah. And then all
Like,
of
oh God, that redhead's coming in.
all of the people coming in for services and training, like it would be a really easy choice because there would be like 5.
I like hate myself for that stuff. Like, so I don't even know that I couldn't do a job like that because I annoy the shit out of myself. I'm like, as soon as they drop new rules and regulations, I read through the whole thing and then I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
I have all this information that I wish I just didn't even know because nobody else is paying attention to it.
And the people who are doing it right get
But
punished.
the people that are doing it right get punished. It happened
Yeah.
to us recently. Like, I'm doing it right. I call zoning. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm like, da 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 da.
No,
And
you
they're like,
tattled on yourself.
no, I didn't tattle on myself. I was about to do something. I was about to offer a service. And then so I call zoning. So I'm like, I don't think that's right. And there's 2 people in the building doing it. So I was like, must be, right? So I call them. They're like, no, that's not. That building's not zoned for that. And I'm like, everybody around me is doing that. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you can tattle and tell us their names. No, motherfucker, that's your job.
Yeah, you
I'm
should.
like,
yeah.
Whoa. But
Yeah.
because I asked the question, now I can't do it, but everybody else can. So I'm like,
I feel that to my core.
crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Crazy.
It is crazy, and I feel like, I feel like we should be rewarded for doing things right and wanting to be compliant. And again, considering what we're doing, and we're dealing with blood and body fluids,
Literally.
and I mean, like
People's
people should
faces.
appreciate that. But it's wild because from the client perspective and the like industry perspective, it's not always appreciated. And honestly, it just blows my mind. And those are the times where I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So
Have I just
when you decided on, sorry, I feel like my lip gloss. When you decided on the particular trainer that you chose, what were some like
the first time or the second time? Which trainer?
First time, I
the
think.
first time, I think.
Okay. Yep.
So what were some like golden nuggets or whatever, like that you thought like this is the one? Like what were those key things you were like, yeah, that aligns, and then they just fell through, obviously it sounds like, but what were those things that drew you in to begin with? Because maybe that would help people keep their eyes open.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to touch on that. So, I mean, advertising, right? Like, you can't always believe everything that you see.
Yeah.
That's advertised. I mean, that was a big thing for me. What drew me in was
So she had a lot of advertisement.
a lot of advertisement, big following, and I think sometimes, like, I don't know, is a big following like
We could have a whole conversation on
Yeah.
that.
maybe that's another
for bots.
I will have to come back, and that'll be a whole nother podcast. But for me, what drew me in was like, okay, they have a big following, they have a huge presence on social media. Their website, like the big thing for me was I was concerned about getting through the 200 hours that the state of Minnesota requires. How am I going to do this? Because I only have so many friends and family, right, that don't already have permanent makeup or, you know, whatever. So how am I going to do this? So the big thing for me, why I chose the first facility that I did, was because they advertise that they do an assisted apprenticeship and that they will supply you with all 200 hours. So that was a huge thing for me, why I kept going back to them. And I did look at other people, but I kept going back to them for mainly that reason, because I felt like, okay, I can focus on the apprenticeship. I don't have to be stressed out about getting these hours in a year or whatever. And, you know, I'm going to get clients, and that'll consistently keep my hands moving because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and everybody has an opinion about it, but I don't think working on latex is anything like working on humans.
Oh, absolutely.
And in the industry, like where I come from, though, it's wild because trainers will tell you, and that was a big thing for me. being stressed out all the time about not consistently having clients, like, we'll just practice on latex. Well, okay, cool. But if I'm in latex and I go too deep microblading, or whatever, it's latex. I mean, that's not true if it's an actual person. So I disagree.
So let me pause you real quick with that, because to me that would have been a huge red flag. A huge red flag if somebody's telling you they're going to get your clientele. And let me explain. I know it sounds wonderful, but what is our job consistently doing? What do we consistently have to do?
Find clientele.
Find clientele.
Yep.
So if you're not being taught in your apprenticeship how to find clientele, what are we even doing here?
That's a good point that you bring up too, and I think is important for people coming into the industry to know,
because it sounds great.
It does sound great, and actually you said that, and then it's like in my head I was like, okay, yes. The other thing that's bad about that, when you're in that type of situation, and again, drink the Kool-Aid, you're also not learning how to run your own business, right? Because these facilities that do things like that, they're booking the clients, they're giving the consent forms, they're collecting the money, they're doing everything. Basically, you are a person in a shop or a school or whatever servicing clients, pennies on the dollar or whatever. You're not learning.
They're setting you up to be a commissioned artist, not a business
100%.
owner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
100%. So I think if you're somebody coming into this industry and you don't want to work for somebody else, that type of setting is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me, like, when I was messaging that model, I already, like, knew what to say. I knew how to, have the conversation with it, and that was important to
even just know the
how to
lingo
do
and
that.
how to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I had just jumped into this, that'd be something you were teaching me. But luckily, my journey's a little different. It's a little backwards.
You've been dealing with client stuff forever,
Yeah.
so you're a little more comfortable on that.
But it's important. It's like a big factor you don't think you're going to need, and you 100% do.
Well, and it's not a fun position like for me to be in now, where you're shifting gears and you're having to find a new place and you're having to adapt or whatever.
And all of a sudden you're a business owner. You're like, whoa, this is
And
different.
now you're scrambling, because now you're like, oh gosh, I gotta create consent forms and I gotta this and I gotta that, and all of those things that like consume every minute of the day.
Do you not have our consent forms? Girl.
Well, I
Just use them.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, in that packet, when you trained with Amber, they're in there.
Yeah. I mean, I do have them.
Copy, paste. Copy paste.
You could take a
Put 'em
photo
in
on
good
your
notes.
phone.
Well,
and
y'all
your
are
phone
gonna
will
have to
copy the
help me
text.
with the medical consent form though, because like that just is not lining up for me. I literally have spent like 3 weeks.
Trying to get it to line up. It's because do we have that already put together, like in a
It's
file
crazy.
where we could email to her? Because I know that one is a bitch.
So
'cause
then I'm
Tanya did
Googling
it.
and I'm like, oh, I can just
No,
like
that one
copy
is-
this into Adobe, which is why
Every time we need to make a
a
copy or adjustment to that one, I know we're always like, Tanya, what the F?
Yeah, I think I figured it out on the computer, though.
So maybe
I'll
we
double
could
check.
just email
Yeah,
it to
I
you.
should have just reached out to you guys like 3 weeks ago. That would have
Yeah.
because at one
Yeah.
point I was up for like 3 days straight because I was like, I gotta get this done. But the formatting, I don't. That's the other thing. You got to be a web developer. You got to be like. There's just so much that. There's so much that goes into it, and I think you're still trying to process coming out of that 5 or 6 day course, and you're trying to, like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, yeah, and especially like that's like a big thing for apprenticeships. I feel like the first 3 months, I know it sounds crazy. I'm like, you really do need about a year. Like you could try 6 months, but really first 3 months should be just business, bloodborns, forms,
100%,
paperwork,
'cause you don't
knowledge,
even-
then latex for another 3 months, then 6 months with models. Like that's really how it should be set up, in my opinion. But
I agree.
There are very few people like in Minnesota too that do it that way. And actually, if I knew then what I know now, when I was like vetting people and I was looking, and I mean, there were some people that I talked to that were like, no, it's one-on-one. But, you're going to have to find your own clients. You're going to have to run your own business, whatever. And you're not going to touch a human until you can perfect whatever on latex. I was like, oh, Lord, okay, well, that's not for me because this place over here does it this way. And I mean.
Well, and on the flip side of that, and this isn't to talk shit about you in particular, but I've seen this same scenario flipped. So you have to think too, like as a trainer, like I get frustrated because I tell people the flow that should be, and they're like, "Oh, that takes too long. Oh, I need to do this tomorrow. I'm like, "Fuck you." Then go get ripped off. Like it's pushed me to the point where I'm like, I don't care if you learn the right way or not. You're gonna come back around in a year and a half. I had learned the hard way, and then be like, Amber, help me. Like. It's the same just a different side of the story, because I'm like, I see why trainers probably get to that point and are like, all right, you want 5 days, here you go. Like you're just gonna keep dumping. It's like money. You're just gonna keep dumping money if you don't do it right. It's the same thing as if somebody gets their brows done and they got messed up and they went to somebody cheaper, you know, because to save a buck or two, but they should have really just invested in a high quality artist. It's the same exact shit. Now you got to get them taken off. $250. I just made a post about this the other day. $250 every 8 weeks for 2 to 3 years. How much does that add up to? I don't know. I'm not good at math, but a lot of fucking money. Yeah. When really you could have just taken that portion and done it right from the start, rather than backtracking and having to start all over again. It's the same exact scenario.
Yeah.
But for some reason, as humans, I would say 90% of people want the easier route, the faster route, and you get 10%.
Yeah.
They get dumped on that are like, well, shit, I was looking for the best one. I just got fucked.
Well, I think that falls back too because, like, I feel like some of the permanent makeup world is, like, looked upon of, like, it's money, money, money.
Yeah.
So, of course, people want to get it done as fast as possible to get to that point. But then you have people who actually give a shit, don't want to mess up people's faces, and now they're how many $1,000 in training because you actually give a shit, you know? But the other people, you know, they're just, okay, I'm here. I'm going to accept what I want to accept, move on, and go make my money. Who cares if I'm messing up someone's face? I know how to do lift, you know, and that's not the good way to think. So I think you're doing it, like, morally right.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
And I'm starting massively, like, already in the negative. But even despite all of those challenges, when I do get through my apprenticeship and I feel good and my doors are open, me not the smartest business person, right? Because I operate too much from the heart, right? And I care. Morals, ethics, values.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh, that's $800 for a set of brows because I got to recoup, because that's not why I got into this industry.
Yeah.
And I think if you're coming into the industry thinking you're going to get rich quick, you probably should not even enter the industry because there is nothing about it. Like, if you're just after money, then I think you should probably just do everybody a favor and
just don't even enter.
And you'll get to that point where you're
Don't
making that
enter.
money, but you got to pay your dues. You know, no one wants to pay their dues anymore. Everything's so quick, you know, and it's not even just with this field. A lot of fields.
Life in
Everyone just
general,
wants-
people don't want to start at the bottom and work their way up, and I mean,
I see like little posts on social media too. There, somebody, I'm like, it's just the silliest question to me because it's like, what do you charge for brows? I'm like somebody will just ask that in a group, and I'm like, what? I'm like, because somebody's charging $200, like. So what? Okay, so you charge $1,000 for a set of eyebrows, but how long have you, if I've been doing it 13 years, my hands are stopping on me. I have a ton of knowledge. I'm not needing to do touch-ups. Like, it's a different story. Like, you can't put a price, like, I don't know. You just, everybody's like, how much do you charge? Well, you can't base what you're charging off of what somebody else. That's why I was like, we talked earlier, like staying in your lane, like keep your eyes focused on you. Like all this stuff out here, just even asking, I get you want like a starting place, but now you got people saying $250 all the way up to $1,200. And it's like, ooh, that didn't help you at all.
Yeah.
And now what it probably did was saw that somebody's charging $1,200 and that's what you want to do, so that's what I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like there's steps. Like you can't just, there's no shortcuts. You got to work yourself up to that. Like
absolutely.
And you got to take care of people, but that's a whole nother conversation because people don't want to even have conversations with people anymore these days. Like, that's part of the fee. Make them feel like they're your best friends. You have to. Like,
we do really good at that. We talk to people, so
we have a conversation for like 30 minutes there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've spent 20 minutes on the phone with I don't know if I can say her name, Marsha.
Okay? Oh, yeah.
I was on the phone. We're just chilling, talking, and I was just like, hey, but she's so grateful now, And
now it's not because we're being snaky. It's because you're a human. We want to be
connection.
It's part of it. You're tattooing someone's face.
Well, and I was just going to say that. I think that there has to be a connection. There has to be a level of trust, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not nurturing your clients that are coming in, and whether it's taking time to educate them or just get to know them, then the trust isn't going to be there.
Yeah.
There are going to be issues, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think people everyone's always in a hurry. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Everyone's in a hurry. They want to make the most money and do the least amount of work and provide zero customer service and get you in, get you out. And it
I'm still
takes away from all of it. Like,
I'm still mind blown how people are like, I do 7 or 8 procedures a day. I'm like, you know what?
How?
I max out at 3. Ooh, and that's pushing it. By the middle of the third one, I'm like, ugh, get me out of here. And it's not because of anything. It's just because you're pouring so much. Like, those people aren't having those conversations.
Yeah.
I'm pouring. I already know that the grandpa passed away 2 years ago and her dog's on the, I know all this stuff. So I'm carrying all this extra information.
Well, like,
so I'm like, by the end of it, I'm like,
our nail people, lash people, hair people, they're like therapists in a sense, so it comes with the territory, and I think if you lose that aspect, you're not going to really hold on to the longevity of clientele.
No,
you're just not.
No, and I think sometimes that people, and I'm not just shitting on this industry because it's just us as humans, right? But it's all about quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about quality anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess me personally, in any facet of business that I am involved in, I would rather have quality relationships with people, and I know that those people are going to continue to come back to me than say, oh, hey, yeah, I get, it's crazy because I reached out to a marketing company recently, right? Because I feel like I'm drowning. I'm starting all over, whatever.
Don't you dare.
Well, yeah, and you know
Tracy.
what? Maybe if I didn't go through everything and I'm a little traumatized coming out of my other situation, I maybe would have drank that Kool-Aid too. But no, you'll be proud of me because one of the first things that individual asked me was, how many clients a month do you want? And I said, I can't answer that. I can't answer that because I'm not fixated on a set number. I can't tell you how much money I want to make a month. I know what I need to make to like cover my overhead, right? But I'm thinking like, hey, in 5 years, I'll be lucky if I even break even. Like that's not my driving force right now, right? Like, and I literally said to this individual, what I care about are the relationships with my clients. And so I guess if I only have 5 clients a month that I have great relationships with and I'm barely covering bills and I'm working another job, well, whatever, then that's what I do because that's what I care about. But it's, you got to be so careful because they're out there.
We're doing a part 2.
Yeah,
We're going to stop on that because I'm about to get in on this.
You will
We're going
probably
to talk
this
about
episode?
this marketing thing. Yeah, well, I want to talk about this marketing thing a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I have some feedback on that. So pause. Stay tuned. We're going to drop another episode with Tracy.
We didn't even get all through her journey yet either.
No,
so.
I didn't get all through her journey
and you know what?
yet
This
either.
happens. Like I come out here and then it's
And then
like,
we just talk.
No, but we need to do we could have podcasts for 3 years, I think, based off like because I just must like evoke something in her where she's like she does.
I know. I'm like, don't tell anybody I said that.
And I don't even like intentionally try to push her buttons. I just get her going. And so y'all would have content for like 3 years. Because I could just keep her going for years.
Well, as soon as you walked in the door, we're like sitting there for like 30 minutes talking.
I know. And poor Sasha was like, I need food. Yeah.
I was like, she's like, my plan.
You're walking to Subway with numbing on. Okay, let's go. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Oh God. I have to say our closing, right?
Okay, yes.
All right.
But we're going to have a part 2, guys.
Yeah, part 2. Stay tuned. We're dropping these every 2 weeks, so check in for the next one. We'll do these back to back so you guys can catch what we got to talk about this marketing scam that she was about to get into. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and Sasha.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
I didn't think
about it.